Good day, everyone. Hope everybody is doing good today. It's a beautiful sunny day finally here in Ontario. Just pressure washed somebody's patio and got pretty hot and, and sweaty, so finally feels like summer. It's saying it's 15 degrees, and it might even be warmer than that. I don't think the temperature they tell you is actually accurate. Doesn't seem to be. So today we're going to talk about nihilism and atheism. Two very depressing states of being, in my opinion. I'm a Christian, as I've mentioned many, many times in my videos. But I wasn't always. Didn't really become a full-fledged Christian until like in the last year. So, not that I didn't believe in Jesus Christ and the things the Bible said, but I didn't call myself a real Christian, because in my opinion, if you're going to be a real Christian, you need to fully follow the doctrine, and believe in all of it, and put your whole heart into it. And I wasn't ready to do that because I still had a lot of questions. But I definitely was not a nihilist or an atheist ever. Okay, from the time I was a child, I knew there was something more because of experiences I had. The main one being something called visual snow, in which I've done videos on this before. All kinds of pixelated little dots would appear in the air, and they would come towards me and envelop me, and would have this spiritual kind of experience. It happened all through my childhood. It still happens, actually. Not as often as it used to, but it still happens. So I've never been an atheist. I've always known there was something more than this physical realm. I always looked at this physical realm as kind of fake, actually, and something wrong with it. But nihilism and atheism are far beyond anywhere where I ever went before I became a Christian. Nihilism states that there's no point to anything. Life has no meaning. It's just an occurrence and doesn't mean squat. There's no real purpose behind it. It's all by chance, and there's just no meaning to it. No divine purpose whatsoever. And, well, atheism might not go as far as that, but atheism is simply you do not believe in any deities. You only believe in this physical realm. Really surprises me that anybody is still an actual atheist or a nihilist, because there are simply too many indications that it seems to me everybody should be able to see that tell us that that's not the case. Now, one of those things, first of all, before I say this, I want to let you know I am not promoting the use of psychedelics, nor will I ever. I recommend you do not use psychedelics. They can, especially some people, they can twist your brain into a pretzel. They honestly can. They change you permanently. If you're ready for them, sometimes it seems there can be some benefit to it. It feels like there was for me. But the risks are simply too great to promote them. So I don't. The opposite. Remember that. I'm not promoting psychedelics whatsoever. But some people, it seems, once they evolve spiritually to a certain point, psychedelics crack open proof that there is more. Because psychedelics are not hallucinations, or they don't cause hallucinations. I don't actually believe there's any such thing as a hallucination. I think what a hallucination is suddenly gaining vision of the spirit realm, of something that's always there, but is not at a frequency where you can actually see it. So for me, the first psychedelic I did was LSD. And whoa, I was like, okay, so that one didn't actually really crack it open because that's not a natural one. That's a man-made one. Does allow you certain access to things a little bit, but not like a plant. Okay, it's not the same deal at all. It's a little piece of it. But then I did mushrooms and different psychedelics like that. First time I did that stuff, there was no question anymore. This was the spirit realm I was encountering. It was for positive sure. And then I went further and get into ayahuasca and, I went through the plant medicines. I did a whole bunch of them. Never once did I ever feel like I was having hallucinations. I was positive I was seeing something that I just didn't normally have access to. And that is the case. Again, not promoting the use of them. Do not use them unless you want to twist your brain possibly into a pretzel. You'll get pretzel brain, some of you especially, if you're not ready for it. Psychedelics are a shocking, unbelievable, life-changing experience. Now, could they possibly help some nihilists and atheists to change their way of thought? Possibly. I wouldn't say that's out of the question. But again, I'm not willing to promote the use of those. I also had a near-death experience in which they were literally, I was in the hospital on the bed. They were pronouncing me dead. I was finished. I stopped breathing, my heart stopped beating, and I was done. When that happened, I rose up out of my body. I've spoke about this in videos before. I floated above, and I was looking down at my dead body beneath me. And I had totally left it. And at that point, once I rose up pretty much to the ceiling in the hospital, this plasma blob is the only way I can describe it. Some sort of entity, some living entity without a question, a spiritual thing, came to reprimand me in a way that you cannot even imagine unless it happened to you. It screamed and yelled and made me look at my dead body and look at my friend who was a respiratory therapist in the hospital who wasn't supposed to be in the room because she knew me, but she forced herself in there and she wasn't leaving. And she was screaming hysterically and like it was just total chaos in the room as I died. And this blob made me stare at myself and at all the activity going on. It gave me a lecture, or beyond a lecture, and told me that I'd really done it now. I'd disregarded the Lord. I had shown my lack of gratitude for my life and for the good things that the Lord had done and, that I should be thankful for. So that, above all else in my life, was absolute proof that I should not be a nihilist or an atheist. Now, what happens with those two states of being? Nihilism and atheism generally lead to completely degenerate behavior and lack of regard for others, maybe even lack of regard for yourself, because you don't believe there's any point to any of this. While I can understand how people get to that point, and maybe they haven't had a spiritual experience, or they haven't done psychedelics, or, they just haven't had any contact with divinity. Maybe they've grown up in a family where they were taught the exact opposite. Okay, but what it leads to, if you don't think there's any point to this, and you don't believe in judgment after this is done, is there anything to keep you from being a real idiot, from being a real asshole to other people? No. There's nothing. There's no point to it. In your opinion, you could murder somebody or you could do whatever, and it doesn't matter because there's no point anyway. There is no God, blah, blah, blah. They ramble on with this stuff. I don't get angry at them. I feel sympathy for them because they're missing the whole essence of life. Okay? Depression. If you get depressed and you're a nihilist or an atheist, that's probably going to get way more out of control than if you actually believe in a God, right? Or I shouldn't say a God, in God. Because there's only one. There's only one. There's a whole bunch of other wannabes out there in the spirit realm. There's a ton of entities that wish they were God and masquerade as God. But there's one God. Okay? And he revealed himself to us through Jesus. That's how we know for sure that he's there. He sent down Jesus to teach us, give us the news that this is how we find salvation. This is the way to the Father is through Jesus Christ. I believe this to be 100% true, okay, without a question in my mind. And like I said, that near-death experience really proved that to me. But the nihilists and the atheists insist this is not true. For this reason, they seem, a lot of them anyway, maybe some nihilists and atheists are nice people and try to be good people anyway. I'm sure they do. But a lot of them don't, because they don't think there's any reason to. There is no supreme authority. There is no point to all this. It's just a happenstance that happened. Some of them actually believe that there was a primordial soup that formed and created life, and then from that it evolved into this other being and swam in the ocean for a while, and then it grew legs and got up on the shore. It's beyond a stretch. They say that believing in a fairy tale or believing in a invisible man in the sky, that's their favorite saying, is completely crazy. Yet they believe that life started as some primordial soup, swam around, grew legs, and come out of the water. Sorry, that's really crazy. And so obviously an attempt to explain away divinity, God, and all that. Now then we have another bunch, the Satanists. They're not atheists. A lot of them claim they are. Satanists will claim they don't believe in any deities or anything. Bullpucky. They do believe in a deity. They believe in Lucifer. And a lot of them even believe in God. But they think Lucifer is the one to follow and God's the evil one. Because Freemasonry has twisted their minds like pretzels and turned it upside down. So these people even become even more dangerous than the nihilists and atheists do. Because they are serving an entity that just wants destruction, death and destruction. That's all that guy is interested in. So we have 4 groups of people, I guess. Those who realize there's a God and follow him. Those who mostly realize there's a God but follow his enemy, Lucifer. Those who just don't think there's any point to anything. The nihilists they're the worst off. They get really depressed. They usually take philosophy courses in school. And they become severely depressed with nothing to really save them from it. And then we have just the plain atheists who may think there's a point to the world, but it's not because of God. And yeah, that summarizes it pretty well, I think. So I'll leave it there. Leave me a comment. Let me know which one you are. Are you a nihilist, an atheist, a Satanist, or do you actually believe in God and maybe you're a Christian or whatever? There's several religions, but of course, in my opinion, it's only one religion that actually worships the right God. But, even Hindus and Muslims, in their minds, they're worshiping God. So they're trying to do the same thing as me. So let me know which one you are. I'm interested in hearing, and I'm not looking to fight with anybody. I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just stating some facts and having a conversation. So may God be with you all.